Hello everyone, welcome to the full moon, this is a full supermoon in Capricorn report at 21 degrees and 21 minutes. It'll be 7:37, 7:38 sort of ish UK time. It'll be 2:37, 2:38 ish Eastern time, 11:37, 11:38 ish Pacific time. And it can either be on the 13th or 14th of July, okay, because Australia, Tokyo, Beijing, Delhi, they're going to be looking at it being in on the 14th of July. Now, before we go on, I really want to do a meditation for you to help activate your parasympathetic nervous system. The reason I want to do this is because I feel that because of everything that's been happening over the last few months or so, the last 6 months to be honest, and how the full moons and new moons have expressed themselves. This Cancer Sun and Capricorn full moon have been kind of the gentler energy than usual for those two signs. However, I thought it might be really good to go into like a little gentle meditation. So long as you're not operating any machinery, driving, or doing anything that needs your full concentration, maybe take a moment for yourself and pause, put everything down, and just take a moment and take a deep breath in first. And breathe out really slowly. Okay, and then what you can do, so long as, like I say, you're not doing anything that really needs your vision, you can close your eyes and then put your left hand over your heart and just go inwards into your body. Sensing how your body feels. Really taking that energetic frequency of feeling into your body, feeling what it feels. Start to notice your breathing going in and out. And as you breathe in, I want you to imagine that you're breathing a beautiful, sparkling white light going into your body. And as you breathe out, imagine that your breath is taking with it anything of irritation, toxicity, or unease that's being held within your body. Just let it go, let it release. You don't need it anymore. So you're breathing in beautiful, sparkling white light. And you're breathing out anything that no longer needs to be held within your body. Allowing your body to relax more and more, slowing your breathing down a little bit, bringing you into a more relaxed state of being. Breathing in beautiful white light and breathing out anything that the body no longer needs. Now going right inwards, just a little bit more, feeling in your body, feeling relaxed, bringing in that deep sense of relaxation. Taking one more deep breath in, breathing out, and I'm going to count up from 1 to 5, and then you can come back and open your eyes. 1, coming on up, feeling more relaxed and focused. 2, feeling your body in the chair or wherever you're sitting, feeling the connection to the space that you're in. 3, coming up further. 4, bringing all of that calm and that gentleness with you. And 5, eyes wide open. So there you go, just do that practice if ever you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable. If you're feeling uncomfortable in a specific situation, one of the things that really helps me actually, and it's just something you can do if you're feeling a little bit uneasy, is keep that left hand on your heart and put your right hand on your heart and just hold it there while and just go inward slightly while whatever's going on is happening, just to bring yourself back to your body and centralize your nervous system. All right, so let's get back with this report. So yeah, basically this is a very, very exciting chart. The chart's really, really exciting, and it's a very different, it's quite an unusual Capricorn full moon. You know, just remember with all like full moons and new moons that we are going to be affected by them a few days before and a few days after, and for some of us we may be more affected than others depending on where our houses fall in the chart. Okay, be really aware of that. Now the Capricorn energy will hit us in quite a big way. Capricorn energy is a strong energy. It's a very earth dominant sign. It's an earth energy. It's ruled by Saturn, which is, you know, a specifically quite harsh planet in a way, and it's all about the planner. It's linked to doing, it's linked to work related things. Capricorn's all about organization and getting things done. It's not very exciting. It's just not an exciting energetic system. It's a bit softer, like I say, in this particular moon, softer than usual, because of how Cancer played out in the new moon. So if you're not too sure about how that played out, watch the Cancerian new moon video, because it will give you the understanding of what's going on now, because they fuse and play with each other and they move into each other. And because we're in the new moon is opposite, not new moon, sorry, because we're in the full moon is opposite to the sun right now. So we've got Capricorn moon and we've got Cancerian sun, right? So those two are fusing and playing together. So it's to remember that, right, when you are looking and listening to these reports, to remember that the energies are fusing and playing from before. The reports are not just standalone, they work with the reports from before. So I always say, if you feel that you don't understand too much, start looking back at some of the other reports to understand what's really happening for you within the phase that you're in, right? Because that's how it'll play out. Okay, now, yeah, there's a lot about practicality with Capricorn. So we've got very practical full moon, very, very practical, and it's about things that can be seen, I would say, more than our emotional aspect, because Capricorn doesn't really care much about that. It's Father Time. It's looking at things, Saturn's Father Time. It's looking at things in a specific way as how can we get it done in an ordered fashion where we've planned it well and we've got it just right. Yeah, it just wants that. It wants it to be just right. You know, this is kind of about being asked to move towards the lofty heights of whatever, you know, we call success. Because Capricorn's that energy of slowly going up the hill, but reaching the pinnacle and achieving from that space. Remember that in this full moon, because this full moon is very interesting, and you'll get more as I go along, but it's a very interesting full moon about and how you can tap into the next space that you're going into, the next area, all right? I remember this is also a very earthly grounded energy. So this is asking us to be very grounded in the decisions that we're making. As you move through the decision making process within this full moon, be very aware of how grounded and centralized you are. Of course, there's that Cancerian sun energy, which is watery and it has that murky depth, and it might pull you a little bit. And as I say, if you want to know more about that, listen to the new moon report, right? But just take that and start to understand where you're coming from, but remember that grounding, and remember that's going to give you the space to make firm, strong choices, right? Because that's really, really important that we step into actually making our choices from a firm base, as opposed to something that's slightly unstable. With the water energies, it's slightly unstable, of course, because, you know, you can think about how water could be. You may not be able to touch the bottom. But with the earth energy, it's about really being secure in your space, rooted, right? So, you know, like I say, it's not a usual Capricornian chart. It's a much gentler energy, and it's kind of, like I say, mirroring the report, like I said from before, and it's asking you to go and seek through your leadership. Okay, because this is a cardinal sign, so it's all about leadership. So it's asking you to seek from that space of you owning your choices, right? Your goals. You know, how are you managing your situations even now? Not how are you going to manage them. How are you managing them right now? Okay. Remember who's in charge here. You're in charge. You know, you are in charge of you and your life. You are the sovereign being of yourself, and you are the one that is to be making the decisions. Okay. Now, this moon really is a fantastic opportunity for you to process, to engage and let go of what's been holding you back or has stuck you in a freeze response. Right now, let it clear up your life. and, you know, help you to step that process up to a higher space, you know, to a space that makes a lot more sense for you. Now, I want to bring your mind back to January 2020. Now, you may not have a remembrance of what happened then. I still have my diary from 2020, and I have really high remembrance, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it in a moment, but I have a high remembrance because I was going through a specifically high thing. You know, but I bring it up because the full moon is within 0.5 degrees of Saturn Pluto conjunction that happens in 2020. So there's a kind of link there, all right? So if you can look back at what happened in 2020, what has and hasn't changed, or what are you still moving through that presented itself in that space? Really look in on it. If you don't have anything like a diary or anything to remind yourself, try and just take your mind back to it so that you can fully look at what needs to happen now. So I'm going to give you my example because it's quite big, mine. So I was going through a huge upheaval in January 2020 through those first 3 months, weirdly, January, February and March. And obviously we know where March took us. For some of us, actually, I think some of you a bit earlier, actually. Well, March took us to that space that we all know about, or we don't want to talk about really. But yeah, I was making huge changes, and I literally released a huge part of my life. Yet for me, and this is what I want to bring you to understand, I haven't quite culminated that process. I'm still working through it. And yeah, you could say that 2020, 21 put us in kind of a freeze space. So it meant we couldn't quite finish all of those things. We couldn't complete them. This is asking us right now to find how we're going to complete that and bring it to whatever needs to come to fruition and complete the whole cycle of that. Yeah. Okay. Like I can't speak to what yours was, but like I say, mine was, I sold my house. Everything was really up in the air for me. I was going through a big grieving process. And now I'm needing to come out of that and move into the next pace of my life rather than still being in that process. So have a look for you, you know. Remember that Capricorn is really concerned with the real world. The real world, okay? It's not, there's no lofty, sort of murky ideals here with Capricorn. It's very earth centralized. Very centralized in earth. You know, you're being asked to look for a new direction in your life and letting the energies free you from what you no longer want. So let that illumination of the moon free you from what isn't going to work, even if that's a plan that isn't going to work. It doesn't mean not going somewhere. It means looking at what isn't going to work right now, what is going to work. Yeah. You know, what can help you to be free? I really see a lot of truth in this chart. Truth, the element of looking in the words within your truth, knowing where your power lies, right? Now, Uranus is in conjunction the North Node, and it's going to go towards living in ways that make you happy. This is about being happy, and it's also about being in a space of making your own decisions, right? So you're making that decisions from your value systems, your beliefs, right? And, you know, the thing is, and what I'm seeing here, you know, is have you been, by any chance, putting up with things that aren't really great and situations for too long? Because this is saying to you, it's time to recalibrate. Now, mine's very much like that. I'm definitely putting up with situations that really it's been way too long. And it's time that I take the reins and start directing it in the direction I want it to go in. So tap into your frequency, what happened for you around that time. Look at the last 2 years and look at what needs to go and what needs to be brought in. Okay, action into purpose. I mean, like, why are you here? What do you want to be doing? There's a very, it's kind of dynamic, a very exciting energy and element to this change. Remember with Uranus that there's a fast element, okay? And if we're not careful, because it's a surprise, it's always a surprise, we don't know what's going on, it may happen in a way you don't expect it to, it may be different to what you expected, and that can sometimes, if we're not very careful and we're not being very vigilant, seem a bit chaotic, a little bit overwhelming, and a little bit confusing. So it's for us to be very honed in to that, yeah, to be recognizing that. Now, remember what happened in 2020. There was a lot of tight control. I mean, I'm talking about on the global scale, okay? But I'm seeing a softening with this energy, yeah? There's a softening here. And I'm bringing this right back down to an individual level because I feel, and what I'm getting as I'm seeing, and actually the angels are coming through with this a little bit as well. Back then, we hadn't taken our power back. So if you have done that, yes, brilliant. If you haven't done that, the power is yours. It's time to step into that. Decisions have to come from your frequency, from you, not from other outside forces here. And that's really important. It's really key here. Okay. Now, also, I want to draw our attention to Neptune, which is 25 degrees Pisces, and to Venus with Gemini, okay? It's bringing through our creativity, and which is linked to words, writing, using our words well. There's also this sense of removing us from that ego as well, and moving into source energy, and, you know, connecting to our bigger picture from that. So really connecting in and saying, yes, I get it. I get where I want to be going, right? You know, also with the Cancer Sun, I want us all to be really aware of the fact that that would be asking us to tap into kind words, you know, being nice. I don't know if any of you guys saw my July report, my July readings, angel readings. If you didn't, it really might be worth having a look at it, because it's got a high level message in there and it's quite illuminating. I will put a link at the end of this video so you can just tap on it and have a look at it. There's a lot that is in this chart, that is in that reading that the angels brought through, okay? That is stuff that we need to be very aware of. So yeah, you know, how are you going to use your words, and watch out on the way that you're expressing yourself. Be responsible with your words, you know. Also, because Mercury is right next to Cancer here with this Cancerian Sun, be really aware that it may try to hold you back from saying what you mean and what you feel. Be kind of vigilant with that, because this is about balance and harmony rather than giving too much. You know, so if you don't say what you want to or feel, you'll be giving too much there. So this is about taking responsibility for you and recognizing that you don't have to give too much. This is about you self-actualizing, self-clarifying, being honest with who you are, being in that truth element. Okay, so with Uranus wanting change and speed, lightning energy, a kind of lightning type energy, is going to be presenting itself. You may feel a bit rattled with your security, because this is going to be different, okay, folks, really different. And Uranus wants a kind of speed in this change. What are you overly attached to? What are you holding on to? How are you living? I want you to think a little bit about security. How's security looking for you? Does it need a little upheaval, a little bit of change, something like that? And also think about your truths, you know, because there's a new planetary energy being fused right now, which is going to play out all the way till the end of August. So think about what's being revealed. Think about how you're awakening. Think about truth. All right. So I mentioned and I said that the full moon is 21 degrees and 21 minutes. That brings us into the energy of love. We are moving into the frequency of love, and I know the angels have explained it in the reports for the year, the two now. We've got one that was at the beginning of the year and one that was for June. That is something that we also need to be very aware of. This is about love energy. This is about that frequency of love. It doesn't have to be too much. It doesn't have to be too overwhelming. You know, we can step into that love energy with a deep purpose and deep understanding, really, yeah? Be careful with Cancer wanting you to help others too much, okay? Check in with your higher self. Mercury is at 17 degrees Cancer, and it kind of asks you to help others. You know, what are you striving towards, yeah? Think about that. Think about what you're striving towards, okay? And move within that energy rather than the energy of helping others too much, yeah? You see, you may think that you want to help others constantly, but this is a great space to share things, but it's also about being careful, because although you might want to be in service to others, this is about you also wanting to connect to your own self, your own inner space, right? As opposed to that Cancer element that wants to protect others all of the time. Now remember, Capricorn is quite a tough moon, and it can be productive, but it can also make us feel a little bit like there's no fun in there. So to be careful with that. I mean, there is a beauty to this moon if you allow it. You have the strong, reliable element of the doer linked to Capricorn, and the watery depths of the sun with Cancer harnessing the ability of the emotions. So you can be kind in this energy, you know, you can be in deep, loving kindness in this energy. Like if you're really wise, you can balance and understand how these energies fuse and play, which is brilliant. And then you can let this full moon be really welcoming energy that helps you to achieve your goals with sensitivity and love. Capricorn energy says you don't have to carry other people's stuff. So remember that, because although you've got that Cancerian energy there, the Capricorn energy says you don't have to carry other people's stuff. Stay heart-centered and be kind, but come back into here. You know, it could be a really good time to release any kind of emotional programming, realizing you're actually only responsible for yourself. And this is really important here. It's really key, because this is what this moon's all about. It's about you actually being in your power, so you can demonstrate to others how they can also be in their power. But it's also about you making decisions from a space of this power. Remember what I said about the 2020 thing? This is about you looking at what happened back then and actually making those changes, because this Capricorn full moon is going to give you the chance to release an old way of seeing it and bring in a brand new way of seeing it. Okay? And you know, if it's a yes for you and a yes for other people, then yeah, brilliant, go for it. Whatever's come up for you, if it's a yes and you feel that big change and you know that you're doing the right thing, then it's going to be the right thing for you. I kind of get the energy, and I'm sort of feeling this as well, that many of us think that you have to please everyone all the time. This is saying, no, that's not really necessary. You know, you don't have to please everyone all the time, yeah? The universe wants everyone to grow and prosper here. And I think what you've got to be a little bit aware of here is to be careful of the Cancerian codependent energy, which is kind of looking for approval, and step into the Capricorn individualism, the independence, that leadership energy is a very energetic space for you to make ways to really check in with what BB, is this real? You know, look into what's happening. Ask yourself, does this make sense? Am I being effective here? And is this kind of reality as opposed to kind of like a dream, right? Honor yourself, because as you honor yourself, I'm really seeing that this is going to help others to honor themselves too. That's really going to be good. So this energy is supporting the Mercury and Sun energies that might have kept you in a place of safety and security. And it may have kept you in a space that isn't really working for you anymore. Now, the moon's illumination is going to bring you through to feeling and sensing into a space where you can enable yourself to do what you want to do, set yourself free from all the things that you're no longer in attunement with, because that's what I'm seeing in a really big way here. This is all about recognizing that you won't put up with anything rubbish anymore, because that's what this is saying. This moon is really saying, enough, I've had enough of all of that. And the sun in Cancer actually said it to some degree as well. So really understand that. And as I say, if you haven't seen that sun report, it might be worth having a look at the new moon in Cancer report as well. Now, this is about liberating yourself from what has been holding you back, so you can move into something new. And when I say new, I mean new on a really deep level. This is nothing that you've ever done before, and this is nothing that you've ever experienced before. So if you can keep things simple and put them into, like, you know, Capricorn earthly format, remember that Pluto is still 27 degrees Capricorn, so it's still got that Capricornian energy. I'm seeing this as you changing things around in a really big way, in a crazy way, in a way you wouldn't normally have done it before. And I still see this as you doing something you've never done before. This is you doing things in a way you've never done them before. Now, I see this linking to spirituality, because you've got the 27 there, and that links to 9. And it's a kind of completion energy as well. 9s are always the endings of something. So you're completing a cycle. So like I was saying for myself, in 2020 something started, I haven't quite completed that cycle. I have to bring it to closure, because it won't work otherwise. Everything's not going to work unless we close that door and step into the next phase, right? So contemplate what you're going to do, know what steps you need to take, and if you do feel a bit of a red flag and you're not sure what you're doing, keep coming back And I'm going to say it, folks, write it down. You know, I love writing things down, but it is going to work for you. Write it down if it gets a little bit overwhelming, so that you can really step into the understanding of what you're really wanting to do. There is a deep transformation being offered here. And it's at such a deep level because it's emotional and it's also grounded with that Capricorn energy. You will be able to, from this space, understand your truth in this world for yourself. Yeah? It's a bigger picture because it's giving you that space to make sure that you're checking in with yourself. Allow this Capricorn full moon to help you to be decisive, and it will pull you out of that sensitivity of Cancer, okay, that Cancerian energy. And this is why if you use the Capricorn full moon energy with this speech, I was talking to you because Mercury is there right next to the sun, but if you use the Capricornian energy with that, then you can speak from a truthful space as opposed from a sensitive space, okay? Also, it's going to bring you into a perspective space. What have you been hiding from yourself? What truth have you been hiding from yourself? Once you know what that is, it's going to be a deep benefit. You're going to find it's very beneficial. You're going to feel a lot better because you're going to understand how it's going to change for you. This full moon is also receiving great support from Uranus and the North Node, which is in trine. There is also support from Neptune, and I'm getting the energetic frequency when I looked at the chart that, you know, something you've been working on and working through is now going to start showing you things that you didn't see there before. There's something you've been also tapping into in the galactic conscience, the cosmic gateway that's coming through for you. And with Neptune in sextile with Pluto, I get, and this has been this harmony for a long time, and it highlights this higher growth, this deeper capacity to change, right, for you. And that's going to be really, really crucial in the next few months. The full moon trines the North Node in Taurus. The North Node is really what you're trying to get to on a soul level. I always say this, with South Node is where you're coming from, North Node is where you're going. It's in 19 degrees of Taurus, and it still brings us back to that safety, security element like I talked about before in some of the other reports. We've got Uranus in 18 degrees of Taurus. We're being inspired in a different way, and I really want you to take that. We're being inspired to think differently. Have a look around you. What's being presented to you in the world at large? What messages are being given to you? There is something playing out here, and you're being sent messages for this pathway that you're taking. You're being asked to pay attention, because when you pay attention, it's going to be easier for you to make the changes that are necessary in these next steps, all right? Now, we are kind of, by the end of the month, I get, because there's a triple conjunction, and it's going to give us a glimpse of what's going to happen later on in the year, and everything's going to come around. It's a kind of fight for us to have an element of freedom. And I'm seeing this in a global way, but actually, as I say this, the angels are saying this actually individual more is aspected more here, because if we can move into that freedom element within our individual aspect, that will reverberate out across the planet, and everybody will then be in that energetic frequency, which is why when I was saying about the return and the 2020 energy and the now energy being slightly similar, it doesn't have to be the same, because it's our reactions and the way we behave that brings in the change or the thing that we actually face, and the situation and the way it gets experienced, okay? So remember, this is all about the physical world. And what I'm seeing here is whatever you're doing will probably show up in some kind of physicality in a real sense, because Capricorn is about that. It's about being able to create something from a space of understanding, of planning, and of reasoning, and of realism, and checking in on it. It does have that energy. So because of that frequency, it's asking us to stay focused on where we're going. Big changes are afoot for you, so long as you open up to the possibilities and you move out of resistance into acceptance of what needs to go, okay? Now, you know, there's like I said, I kind of see it sort of liberation actually as it goes. almost like we're being liberated from where we've come from. I mean, the south node is over at 19 degrees, and yeah, we're being, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just going to check my notes. Yeah, it is. And so yeah, I think we're just being liberated from the where we've come from. We're moving into where we're going, and we're being supported by this full moon to do that. Now, this is going to bring through a real deep sense of power. However, and this is coming from, remember, it's where we're coming from, where we're going to. It's going to bring in a deep sense of power, but where were you giving it away before, right? Yeah? Where were you tangled up with other people in the last 2 years? Where you thought you had to do things to make others happy and feel safe, right? I feel this full moon is going to show you the truth of all of this so that you can stand in your own emotions with strength, knowing what you want. This is about what you want, not what anyone else wants. This individualism will help the collective. It's going to help the whole global community. Humanity is working together. So if you can deal with your own inner aspects, it's going to really help others to flourish, because it's going to have a sort of like a domino effect, okay? Now, I mentioned in the last report, the energies are opening up for us to create from a space that we've never created from before. And I have said more a little bit about it today. We're being called to do something different. I know it sounds scary for some of us. However, this is the energy that we're in. We've got to start understanding what we really want. And it's also the energy that we're opening up to. If you tap into it, you're going to realise it's safer there than where you're here. Yeah, wherever you are at the moment. There's a safety in being open rather than resistant to that step that's been presented to you. Be willing to let go of the things that you no longer need. You may not feel qualified or ready for this. You may just think, oh my goodness, I can't do this. This is bigger than anything I've ever done before. Yet you're on the path where you have all the tools necessary to get what you need. And I did mention it in the New Moon report. Have a little check out if you're not sure. I mention why we're on that pathway. I think it's to do with Aquarius, but I'm not remembering, and I don't have it written here on these notes. Okay, so remember that Capricorn's ruled by Saturn. This is going to bring us to something really coming together, because and Saturn's also linked to Venus at the moment, that's squaring, I need my notes, sorry. Yeah, that's squaring Neptune. And so you may kind of feel a little bit of disbelief or surprised at what's being presented to you. And although it's being presented as a challenge, the angels are actually saying, this is your gift. This is your gift. So whatever you've been working through, this is showing you new possibilities in your world, something you didn't even think that maybe you could have. And I'm getting that really strongly. The angels are really bringing through that this kind of, woohoo, you can have more than you thought you could have. So take this full moon to release what you don't want, move into bigger picture thinking. And I remember, well, like I say, if you didn't watch the New Moon report, I keep referring to it, but if you didn't, please check it out. But I do talk about bigger picture thinking. This is about you going, yes, I will think farther and wider than I've ever done before, and I will commit myself to it because within me, feels a sort of excitement towards it. Because you see, what I'm getting here, and the angels are saying it as well, is that there's a fear element inherent in it, but there's also an excitement element. So fuse into the excitement element, because you know that this is going to be good for you, and you can feel it on a deep visceral, I can't say the word, visceral level. You can feel it on a visceral level. And that means it's going to help you to move towards it, okay? Life can be resounding and great, even when things are tricky. It can do that. You know, there's contrast. The world is going to be giving us contrast, but that contrast is what's going to bring in the dynamism that you need in order to be safe in what you know is possible, or you know is possible for you. I would say to you, like I said about the loving, energetic frequency, step into that. It doesn't have to be a massive catastrophe. Keep your heart open to yourself. Stay soft to yourself. You know, because this is going to help you to balance the energy between everything that you want everything that you need and how you can bring it into place. Lean on the strength of this beautiful, strong cardinal Capricorn full moon to help you to plan to create a life that's so much better for you. And it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be amazing. You're going to be happy in that energy because suddenly you're going to feel as if you've made inroads to have the life that you want, that you love. Anyway, my lovelies, that is the full moon in Capricorn report. I feel as if I wanted to say so much more, and I wanted to talk a lot about this moon. I'm hoping that I've said everything I wanted to say, and I'm hoping it gives you some clarity on the fact that you are ready now to move from one space into a new space, find out what you've been clearing up, and move into a deep, clarified position from there. Because this is all about you tracking your life, and it's all about you essentially moving it forward in ways that you haven't before. This is about clarity. Remember, you're being offered a gift here through how the planets are interrelating and working and how this chart's presented itself. You're being offered the chance to change things for the better. So please, please do it, because it's going to be good for you and it's going to help you and it's going to make your life feel so much better. Anyway, my lovelies, thank you so much for watching. Please give me a like if you've enjoyed what you've had, or please give me a like anyway, because you've taken the time to get this far. If you want to subscribe, I'd be really, really grateful. I'd love that. Please share if you feel that other people might be interested in what I've said. And I am sending you so much love as ever. Take care of yourself till the next report. Do keep checking. There's lots of other things coming. Namaste to you all. Take care. I'm sending you big love and a beautiful rest of the next few weeks. And lots of good development, lots of changes. And I'm hoping that all of you can step into something that starts to look a little bit more of your joy space. Go into that space of joy because it's what you deserve. All my love. Take care. Bye, everyone. Take care. Bye, 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 bye.